Welcome again to the old principle. We are studying a little English, always studying a story or two or three. Today's story happens to be from my life story, from my own story. So I should be able to speak with a little bit more enthusiasm. This is lesson number 151. Number 151, delivering newspapers, 送报纸, 送报纸. Now, with that, we need to do something. We need to listen to the story. So let's listen to the story as Mrs. Ash reads it to us.
Number 151, delivering newspapers. Slowly but surely I came to realize that money didn't grow on trees, or if it did, I hadn't yet found the right tree or learned how to pick the fruit. Mom and Dad wouldn't give me money just any time or for any excuse. I must find work. I respected my friends who delivered newspapers door to door. I didn't at first realize what it would be like to work and decide things on my own, but I needed money. I never had a paper route of my own, but occasionally one of my paper boy friends went on vacation and asked me to take over his route. The hardest part of being a temporary paper boy was having to learn the route, which house got a paper and where to leave it. And delivery boys don't have any days off. Every afternoon, rain or shine, hot or cold, I rode my bicycle house to house delivering the evening papers. That wasn't all. The Sunday paper had to be delivered in the early morning before people got up, and it was 3 times thicker than the daily paper, so I couldn't roll it up and throw it like the daily newspaper. And then there were the dogs. Oh, I remember a yellow house at the end of Grant Street that had a low white fence. I passed by the house every day on my way to school. They had the largest German Shepherd I'd ever seen. Ooh, that's the reason they had the fence, to keep paper boys like me from being eaten alive. I could avoid the dog by throwing the paper onto the porch, but once a month I had to collect newspaper money, and I had to walk inside the gate and up to the door. Would the dog be there? No, the owner was holding the dog when I came.
Okay, with that, we come now to delivering newspapers. Slowly but surely I came to realize that money didn't grow on trees. Or if it did, okay, well, you just better stop right there. We have a saying, parents, when they see their children spending money right and left, 花钱，大大的花钱, then they will often say to their children, my child, money doesn't grow on trees. So I start this lesson with this by saying, slowly but surely, 慢慢，但是确确实实的 slowly but surely, I came to realize, 我就开始意识到 that money didn't grow on trees. 不是在一个水果树产生的or if it did, 再来 I hadn't found the right tree. 当然这是开玩笑我真的是还没有找到对的树 OK 对着书 or learned how to pick， 也不知道怎么样摘果子了啊。So this is, of course, a joke because I didn't know where the right tree was, the money tree, and I hadn't learned where or how to pick the fruit. Go ahead. Mom and Dad wouldn't give me money just any time and for any excuse. I must find work. Okay, now this may seem strange, but I think most parents are very careful. Mom and Dad would not give me money. 他不愿意给我钱, but I have a descriptive clause that says, just anytime 我随时想要任何一个借口任何一个理由他不一定是要给我钱 Okay, Mom and Dad wouldn't give me money just anytime or for any excuse. I must find work. Of course, when it comes to this, I respected my friends. Yes, going on, I respected my friends who delivered newspapers. 他们是送报纸，他们是报童。Okay? I respect them. 我是蛮尊敬他们。And I said, wow, I wish that I could do that. I respected my friends 送报纸 door to door. You know what door to door means? One house after the other house after the other house. This means from door to door. Going on. I didn't at first. 首先我没有意识到 what it would be like to work and decide things on my own. I really had no experience working. I had no experience. 我没有经验. Okay? So I didn't know what it would be like to work. 不晓得工作是什么样的东西啊. I didn't know what it would be like. And of course, I didn't know what it was like. 我根本不晓得要自己怎么样做决定. I didn't know how to make decisions. Of course, any parent will know, 父母亲都知道, you teach your children to make decisions. 做决定是一种功课. You could say it's a lesson that you teach your children, and you give them more and more and more things to do and to decide. Okay? I never had a paper route of my own. I never had a paper route of my own. Okay, what is a paper route? A paper route is 送报路线. Okay, I tell you that what happens is that you have to be a good memory. And you say, I must deliver a paper here and here and here, but not there, and here and there. This is 送报的这个路线. That's a paper route, okay? 我没有自己的. But occasionally, or on, one of my paper boy friends, 我有一些朋友，他们是报童, they would what? They would want to go on a vacation. 他们想要休假. Well, you know, if you're a paper boy, you cannot go on vacation. 你根本没有办法放假. 为什么不能放假? Because every day you must deliver the newspapers there. You've got to do that. You've got to deliver these newspapers every day. No rest, no rest, no rest. So, my friends wanted to go on vacation, and they asked me to take over. What does it mean to take over? It means to do what he did. So he delivered newspapers, and so I would deliver newspapers. So I would take over his paper route, and I would deliver the newspapers. Going on. The hardest part of being a temporary paper boy was having to learn the route. 最难的一部分, and this is really true, a temporary 临时暂时的一个报童 is having to learn 必须学习这个路线 what house, what house, what house. Hi, and it always was, I can remember, sometimes, not often, but maybe a few times, I forgot a house. And then somebody calls the newspaper, this is such and such a person, my newspaper didn't arrive tonight. And then they would call me and say, excuse me, you have forgotten to give a newspaper to somebody. I said, oh my word, yeah, I did. And so then I would have to rush and take the newspaper over there. So I had to learn the route, which house got the paper and where to leave it. Some people like their newspaper here. Some people like their newspaper there. Some people like their newspaper by their doors. I'm 门前, many different places. Some places, all you had to do is you just take it and you just threw the newspaper. And that was fun, because then you could throw the newspaper. Okay. And delivery boys don't have any days off. Of course, you can't rest. Every day there's a newspaper. Well, in America, most newspapers are every day going on. Every afternoon, rain or shine, 下雨或晴天, good weather and bad weather, whatever the weather is, you have to go out there. And of course, in my home, the weather was very often in winter, 冬天的时候, very wet, 很会下雨, and it's cold, and you have to go out and deliver. Whether it's hot or cold, you still have to deliver the newspapers. I rode my bicycle from house to house. I rode my bicycle, 骑单车, from house to house, delivering the 晚报, evening paper. Yeah, I'm not sure that I would like the morning paper, but it wasn't, that wasn't all. 不是这么多了. For 6 days, you delivered the newspaper, but the Sunday paper, 星期天的报纸, had to be delivered in the early morning, is delivered in the morning. In the morning. Very early in the morning. Sunday morning. Can't sleep in. 没办法睡觉, 睡觉, because you have to deliver the newspaper before the people got up. Before the people got up. 还没有起床, 已经送. 还有一点点. Okay? And it was 3 times thicker. 3 times thicker. Whoa! 3 times 厚3倍. So sometimes, especially in big cities like Chicago and New York and Los Angeles, 这些大的这个都市城市, the newspapers can be that thick. Very, very, very thick. Of course, every one of them, you can't throw a newspaper like that. You can hardly carry the thing. So, I mean, it's very, very heavy and very awkward. Okay. And it was 3 times thicker than the daily paper, so I couldn't roll it up and throw it. 没办法把它卷起来丢到他们的家. Like I did with the daily newspaper. Of course, I couldn't throw the paper. 我并不是说每一家是把报纸扔丢了. But Sunday, for sure, I couldn't do it. Going on. And then there were the dogs. Actually, I love dogs. I do. I love dogs. The only trouble is that dogs don't always love the paper boy. Did you know that? Dogs don't always love the paper boy. And so, if it's a little dog, yeah, not much of a problem. But if it's a big dog, big dog, then, yeah. Now, I remember a yellow house at the end of Grand Street. And the reason why I remember is that 每一天我上学初中的时候 every day I went by this house. It was a little yellow house, and it had a low white fence. Okay, a low white fence. Now, a fence, this is a 篱笆, okay, 有矮有白 white, okay, and since I passed by the house every day on my way to school, I was very, very used to. That means I saw this house all the time. And they had a big dog. I mean, it was a big dog. And the dog barked, and he opened his mouth like this, and you could see the teeth in his mouth. And he said, oh, I don't know if I want to go there. Of course, when I was just going to school, no problem. No problem, because I wasn't delivering newspapers. But when I had to deliver newspapers, 运气不好, just out of luck, bad luck, I had to deliver a newspaper to that house. And they had, let's go back there, they had the largest German Shepherd I had ever seen. You know what a German Shepherd is? It looks like a Langzi, okay? German, 德国牧羊犬. It's a big dog. It's a big dog. And I said, oh no, I didn't like to go to that house. That's the reason they had the fence. Of course, 就是因为这个缘故，他们有篱笆 It keeps it. Seems to me like the dog could jump over it. But anyway, he didn't. He stayed inside, which I was grateful for. I was glad that he was inside and I wasn't. Okay, that's the reason they had the fence, to keep paper boys like me from being eaten alive. Okay, to 保护报童，像我报童，不要被火生生的吃掉。So I thought, oh boy, I'm glad for the fence. But that's not all. I could avoid the dog by throwing the paper onto the porch. Now some dogs like to chase things. Fortunately, this dog did not like to chase, so it was fine. I could 避免这个狗 by throwing what? Throwing the paper up on the porch. Okay. Do you know what a porch is? I asked my Chinese friends, how do you say porch? And they said, porch. 也不是走廊, that's an aisle or a hallway. So what is a porch? I tell you what a porch is. In American houses, we have the house, 一家一家的，不是大楼的. We have one house by one house. And then the front door, usually there's 有一点点的台阶. So you walk up a step, and then you have the door. And a porch, what is a porch? It is just a little area in front of the door, and you stand there and you knock on the door, and you're standing on the porch, and people open the door, and then you can do whatever you want to. So that's what a porch is. Going on. But once a month, I had to collect the newspaper money. 必须收那个报纸的钱，这个月费。Okay? And I had to walk inside the gate. You know what that meant? That means I had to open the gate, I had to walk in, and then do what? Knock on the door. Now the question is, would the dog be there? 这个狗会不会在那边迎接我? Oh, this was something. I'll tell you how I solved the problem. I solved the problem in a very easy way. Before I went to that house, I called on the telephone. 我打电话. And I went there and I called them on the telephone. I said, tomorrow night, I'm going to collect the money. 我要收这个报费. Okay? And they took the dog, and I don't know what they did with the dog. They put the dog somewhere, and it was safe for me to go. But every time I went there, my heart went 心脏跳得好快, right? But when I went there to collect the money, because I had phoned ahead, no, 松一口气, the owner was holding the dog when I came. Okay, the owner, 这个主人, is holding or was holding the dog when I went to their house. 我来到他们的家. he was holding the dog. Okay, so there you have my story as a paper boy. One thing I learned about that, I had to be a responsible person. 要负责任 every day. Every day. It seems to me maybe on Saturdays I didn't have to deliver the newspaper because Sunday was triple size, 3倍厚. So I was a responsible person every day. And if you're tired, you say, oh, I am so tired. I'm sorry. You still have to do it. Every day you become a responsible person. And I learned a lot of other things. I respected my friends, 我的报同的朋友，我是蛮尊敬 because I experienced, 我体验过 I experienced what it was like. So there you have it. Nowadays, yeah, they probably still have paper boys, but I don't know. Nowadays, everybody uses internet, so maybe that's different. Okay, well, let's take a few moments, have a few more seconds. We have an email address. Okay, 我们的电邮的地址是 The Old Principal 老校长 The Old Principal 三个字并在一起 The Old Principal PAL CIPAL at gmail.com. Or you can write to us. You can even watch the programs. 你自己可以看旧的节目 If you go to www.theoldprinciple.org. Hey, it's been great spending this time with you, and I do hope that you will invite your friends and come back for another interesting lesson. Until then, bye-bye.